Our HOA president called the cops on my wife when she refused to hand over $250,000, and I was sure we were about to lose everything until the officer walked in, looked at her ID, snapped to attention, and said, "Yes, General. My name's Logan Martinez. I teach high school history. My wife, Rebecca, she retired from the Army after 22 years, a brigadier general who'd spent half her life in places I can't even imagine. We thought moving to Sunset Hills would finally give us peace. Nice lawns, quiet streets, a chance to just be normal. 3 months in, we were dead wrong. That night was supposed to be a routine HOA meeting, pool maintenance, parking complaints, maybe a discussion about lawn height. Instead, the community center felt like a trap. 60 neighbors packed into a space built for 30, whispering nervously, while the HOA board sat like a jury. And right in the middle, perched like a queen on her suburban throne, was Karen Whitfield, the president. Perfect nails, tapping the table, smug little smirk eyes sweeping the crowd like we were all subjects under her crown. She didn't bother with small talk. She stood, smoothed her blazer, and announced, "Each household will contribute $250,000 toward our premium landscaping project. This is mandatory. Payment due in 30 days. Just like that. No discussion, no vote." You could hear the gasps, the muttering. My jaw dropped so hard I thought it cracked. 250 grand for grass and bushes. An elderly widow, Mrs. Martinez, her hands shaking, stood up. "Karen, last year I paid you $45,000 for emergency roof repairs that never happened. I've been living on crackers and soup just to get by. Please, I don't have anything left." Her voice broke, and for a second I thought maybe Karen would soften. Instead, Karen rolled her eyes and said, "Perhaps you should have been more financially responsible. Community standards require community investment. If you can't meet your obligations, maybe assisted living would be more appropriate." The cruelty in that line hit like a punch to the chest. My wife's shoulders stiffened, and I knew the soldier in her had just been awakened. Rebecca stood up calm but commanding and said only 4 words. "I refuse to pay." The room froze. Karen's face went purple, fingers stabbing the air. "Excuse me, did you just refuse a direct order from this board? This isn't the military. Your husband's rank doesn't matter here. You will comply or face the consequences." And then, in full theatrical glory, she whipped out her phone, dialed 911, and shouted for everyone to hear. "We have aggressive government employees threatening HOA board members. Send officers immediately." My stomach dropped. I imagined Rebecca in cuffs, my career in ruins, our dream home gone before it ever began. When Detective Jake Morrison arrived, Karen pounced, spilling her tale of intimidation and hostile military families. He nodded politely, then turned to us. "Identification, please." Rebecca reached into her purse and handed him her military ID. He looked at it for 3 seconds, and then everything changed. Shoulders squared, spine straight, his hand shot up in a crisp salute. "Yes, ma'am. General. How can I assist you today?" The room erupted in whispers. Karen's jaw hung open like it might fall off. Rebecca didn't gloat, didn't even flinch. She simply sat back down, calm as a stone. But me. My heart was pounding because I knew this battle was just beginning. Karen wasn't finished. She started using every trick she had. The next day, my principal called complaints had been filed accusing me of indoctrinating students spreading anti-authority rhetoric. Total nonsense, but serious enough to get me suspended. Karen had gone for my throat. That night, I sat at the kitchen table staring at the floor, wondering if maybe she was right. Maybe we should just sell the house, walk away, start fresh somewhere else. What chance did 2 newcomers have against an entrenched HOA queen and her political family? Rebecca touched my shoulder, eyes steady. Karen picked the wrong target. "This isn't just about us, Logan. This is about every military family she's chewed up and spit out. We're not running." That was the moment I realized I couldn't fold. If I backed down, she'd destroy more families like Mrs. Martinez's. So we fought. Rebecca pulled out a folder she'd been compiling fake citations, unexplained withdrawals from HOA accounts, patterns of harassment. I dug into Karen's past and discovered the bombshell she'd once served in the Army too, but was dishonorably discharged for embezzling from soldier welfare funds. She stole money meant for radios and armor, and men had died because of it. My blood boiled. Morrison kept investigating. Turns out 6 military families in the last 3 years had been forced out of Sunset Hills under identical circumstances, mysterious assessments, endless fines, pressure to sell. And every single one of those houses bought below market price by a real estate company owned by Karen's ex-husband. It was a scam, systematic and cruel. Karen, meanwhile, waved her brother's name like a weapon, Congressman Robert Whitfield. You can't touch me. My family runs this town. But her grip was slipping. Tyler Wilson's live streams were gaining traction. Neighbors were whispering. And for the first time, people weren't looking at Rebecca and me like troublemakers, they were looking at Karen like a tyrant. Then came the night of the so-called emergency meeting. Karen's plan was simple: dissolve the HOA, erase the books, and vanish with the cash. The community center overflowed, anger thick in the air. She arrived with lawyers in tow, ready to bulldoze a vote. But Rebecca stood up first. Gone was the quiet retiree. What stood there was a commanding officer addressing her troops. Before you vote, she said, you need to see the truth. She pulled up slides, financial charts, timelines, evidence of fraud. Every dollar siphoned, every bogus fine, every military family driven out. The room went silent, except for the gasps. Then Mrs. Martinez found her voice. She rose, tears glistening, and said, "This woman took $45,000 from me and never fixed my roof. She made me feel afraid in my own home, but Rebecca showed me I don't have to bow to bullies." The applause shook the walls. Karen shrieked for an immediate vote, but the crowd wasn't hers anymore. And then the doors swung open. Federal agents stepped inside, badges gleaming. Karen Whitfield, the lead one, said, "You are under arrest for financial fraud, elder abuse, and money laundering." The room froze, every eye on Karen as her face drained of color. She tried to laugh it off, then screamed, "This is persecution. You don't know who you're messing with. The people I work with, they don't forgive, they don't forget," she thrashed as agents cuffed her, spitting venom, but it didn't matter. The Queen of Sunset Hills was dragged out in front of the very people she'd lorded over. Tyler's live stream captured every second, her screams, her threats, the moment the door shut behind her. I stood there, silent, watching the downfall of a woman who thought she was untouchable. And in that moment, I understood the most dangerous bullies aren't always on the battlefield. Sometimes they're right here in our neighborhoods, hiding behind rules and titles until someone finally says no.